Yeah, boy.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I was recently asked to make a video on how to get the Mender's Lexicon. This is generally considered to be the best Lexicon in Outward, as there are only two. The other one has no stats, while this one grants -5 mana cost, along with 5% extra damage bonuses to ethereal and lightning damage. Considering the main focus of rune magic revolves around lightning and ethereal, it's very beneficial to get your hands on it. Now, fortunately, this is not the only important thing in this cave. You see, there's a lich known as the Mender. You can fight him by heading over to the large spire in the swamp region. He's a sort of jaded enemy who wants to wipe out humanity. He sees you as the reason for all the corruption in the world, and for good reason. Unfortunately, his plan to fix this is to just rid the world of all humans though, so of course, we can't let that happen. As it turns out, the Voltaic Hatchery was a sort of research laboratory for the Mender many years ago. It was originally a trog den, as seen in the entrance with the door and the littered bodies of trogs. The Mender seems to have taken it over and left some of his minions there to either protect his research or maybe just the Lexicon itself. Kinda cool. Now, if you want the Lexicon itself, you'll need to pull 3 small levers. These will open up a barrier in the main room and grant you access to the Lexicon. The levers are not super hidden, but it is easy to lose your way in this cave. Try and follow what I do in this video and you should be okay. Although you might want to avoid more lightning balls than I did. While we're following this path to the levers, there are a few other important things you should know. First off, I highly recommend crafting a horror weapon before you enter the cave at all. You'll face off against multiple lightning golems and they can be tough. Horror weapons deal a lot of impact and decay damage, which these guys don't necessarily like. Craft one with a fang weapon, occult remains, palladium scrap, and horror chitin. You don't really need to fight anything if you want to get the Lexicon and get out, but there is reason to defeat them. These guys can drop gold lich mechanisms, which are very valuable. Craft gold lich weapons with a gold lich mechanism, iron weapon, and firefly powder. This is not only a great way to have a decent lightning weapon, but they sell for at least 240 silver. These boxes are very valuable and can be stored up until late game for last minute cash if you need it. I personally don't use this very often, but I'm gonna start because it's incredibly useful. If you can't get your hands on a horror weapon, you could always use a ton of tripwire traps or just sigil of fire to clear this place out. Still be careful of the golem with the cannon though. He has some odd interactions with Brace where he murders you no matter what. Now once you finally have all 3 levers pulled, you can make your way back up to the main room. Here you'll find a corpse with the Lexicon in hand. Grab it, but be careful. The area is home to the Golden Matriarch, and he's quite deadly. This is a minion of the Gold Lich that has been modified to look like a mantis shrimp. It's kind of fitting since the back of this dungeon has a lot of mantis shrimp, and it seems the Mender was experimenting with one of their eggs as well. Now, right off the bat, you think, oh, mantis shrimp? This can't be that bad. Well, it is. All of his melee attacks deal AoE to the ground, or area of effect, which means you can't block it and are forced to roll away. If that wasn't bad enough, he has 2.5 health regen per second. So he can fully heal if you don't keep attacking him. And he's immune to lightning, and very resistant to physical. The only thing to use here is fire, ethereal, and decay. This enemy is the main reason we needed that horror weapon. Getting him to burn will stop the health regen, but you're in for a bit of a long battle. You can only attack after he does 3 ground AoEs, or else you get stuck in them. Again, that horror weapon deals good knockback, so you should be okay as long as you don't rush this fight. Another issue here is this guy is often guarded by an elemental. Please do me a favor and kill that first, or else things will turn for the worst. Now again, you can grab the Lexicon without killing any enemies. So why am I telling you this? In fact, most of this info is known by the Outward community and has been for a long time. Well, what you might not know is that this Golden Matriarch is unique. He drops a boss reward as well as a particle. Usually, unique enemies don't respawn, and this one shouldn't either. Luckily though, he does. Some people have told me that he didn't respawn for them. That kinda sucks, but for me, he always shows up every 7 days after the region resets. and each time he drops a unique arena boss item as well as a particle and a purity potion. Make sure to come fight this guy every time you're in Chersonese because that's a decent amount of boss items you can rack up and maybe craft a cool set of armor or weapon. This is definitely a challenging cave in the early game for sure, but later on you can clear this out in under 5 minutes and be on your merry way. The Light Mender is a really cool boss in Outward, and he actually has a ton of lore in the game. I mean, he obviously came to Chersonese at one point, so what else did he do? The Voltaic Hatchery is a pretty awesome place, and the Light Mender's Lexicon is either a great tool for rune users or a nice trophy to add to your collection. Don't forget about this cave as you scour this land for goodies. Stop by every once in a while and stock up on some fantastic loot. Hopefully this was helpful for those looking for the Lexicon, and also for those looking to get a bit of money in Chersonese. This cave is probably the best cave in the region and will test your character as well. Consider hitting that like button if you learned something new, and I will catch you next time.